NFL.com has named Tom Brady as one of the players guaranteed to have a bounce-back year this season. Brady has thrown for fewer yards and touchdowns each of the previous 3 seasons, but is now paired with what Pro Football Focus ranked the league's best receiving group. Shannon, do you agree Brady will have a bounce-back year even at 43 years old?
I might need to look up bounce back because Skip Bayless has been telling me that Brady played great. So why would you need to bounce back? You know, having played sports and been around sports, I know you have a bad quarter. Don't worry about that. We'll bounce back in a second. But I wonder if somebody's going to say Lamar Jackson needs to have a bounce back season after 2019. Oh, so in other words, now our Gil Brandt, now I know Gil, Skip, you know Gil, you've been around Gil. Gil described Tom Brady's season as mediocre. I guess because, Skip, you know, I'm not in the Hall of Fame as a talent evaluator. You know, I didn't draft Bob Lilly and all these other guys inside, you know, Michael Irvin. So I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. But I said that, and I've been saying that for the longest time. Now, Gil tag along, Tom Brady had a mediocre season. I think it was less than mediocre because Tom Brady was 19th at QBR. There's only 32 quarterbacks that could qualify, Skip. That's not good. He's 27th in yards per attempt and completion percentage. Is that very good, Skip? And the Skip Bayless stat that he loves so much, let me tell you what. Now, he loved this stat in 2018 and 2017. It's called throwaways. Tom Brady led the NFL in throwaways. Skip Bayless, look, woo, Aaron Rodgers just throwing it away because he wants to keep that interception percentage intact. Your guy led the NFL in throwaways, was 27th in completion percentage and yards per attempt, 19th in QBR. But Skip Bayless and others would tell you Tom Brady played great. You blamed it on the receivers. But here's what's going to happen, Skip. Now, Tom is in a new environment, and I'm not saying that he's going to be god-awful, but there will be games that he will struggle. Who are you going to blame it on? Now, you told me yesterday Chris Godwin is the best receiver in football. They got the best receiving core in football. With Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Gronk comes back, Cameron Brake, and O.J. Howard. I don't want to hear any excuses. There should be no excuses for Tom Brady not to throw for 5,050 touchdowns because you said he's exponentially better than Jameis Winston. Jameis threw for almost 5,233. So given by my calculation, Tom Brady should break Peyton Manning passing record, Peyton Manning touchdown record, and they should be 16-0. That's what should happen because Tom Brady is the GOAT, so says Skip Bayless. He's so much better than Jameis, and he will take care of the football. So I'm looking at about 57 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 15-1, and that should be comeback player of the year and unanimous MVP. Right,
is that your prediction?
No, yeah. I'm saying by your calculation. By your calculation. By your calculation, yes.
Okay, well, on this show, I just go along for the ride with the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe. It's always by your calculations that I react. And all I know is that the Hall of Famer has told me consistently for 4 years, Tom Brady is in decline. The Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe predicted in 2016, this will be Tom Brady's final year, 2017, final year, 2018, final year.
No, I did
That's what he told me.
No, I did not.
I have to react to that because you're in the Hall of Fame. I'm not even in the Hall of Fame. I'm way down here in the flats in West Los Angeles in my tiny little humble abode, stuck up in my loft here, looking up at you in your palatial estate. And now back to the other Hall of Famer, Gil Brandt. I did cover Gil for many years in Dallas. I know him all too well. I know the good and I know the bad. Well, Gil Brandt has declared that Tom Brady was mediocre last year. So I have to react to that because the piece that he wrote is presuming that Tom was mediocre. So Shannon Sharpe told me that last year Tom Brady was so in decline, he lost arm strength and he lost his nerve, or at least some of his nerve, in the pocket. He wouldn't stand in against the rush. So isn't it then fair to presume that Tom Brady is now at least a candidate for bounce-back player of the year? Wouldn't you presume, by your analysis, by your standards, isn't he a candidate for bounce back, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, come back. Yeah. But you said he shouldn't even be in the running because he played great.
Okay. Now, back to my very humble 2 cents worth of opinion from a distance. I thought Tom Brady was terrific last year because I saw through what Bill Belichick was trying to do to Tom Brady. He was trying to literally run him out of town. He was getting sabotagey in surrounding Tom Brady with his worst supporting cast offensively in 20 years in New England. I dare you to prove me wrong on that. Show me how last year's supporting cast wasn't the all-time worst, because by Pro Football Focus standards, his receivers were dead last in separation. His tight ends as a unit, Gronkless unit, were dead last in productivity. And then I read on, let's just do Pro Football Focus. I read this on Brady last year. His passing suffered because of the lack of quality receivers in 2019. Brady's numbers were solid with nobody winning on a consistent basis. That was from Pro Football Focus. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Then we saw even yesterday from the Next Gen stats on NFL.com that Tom Brady was ranked the 4th best deep passer in football last year, 7 deep pass touchdowns, best of his career since 2006. And yet, Next Gen Stats had him for the 3rd worst pass protection last year. 4th best long distance passer, 3rd worst pass protection. And their conclusion was, so with more pressure in his face than most quarterbacks faced and a revolving cast of characters at receiver, Brady still posted the 4th best deep passing mark. Not bad for a 42-year-old, says Next Gen Stats. That's what I kept trying to tell you. Shannon, in the end, what were the results? Somehow, with that garbage around him, with Julian Edelman leading the league in drop passes and a broken down shell of himself last year, and that was his go-to receiver, Tom Brady still lifted this team in position to win the 2 seed. In the final home game against the suddenly hot Dolphins, he drove his Patriots 60 yards in 8 plays for a touchdown with 3 minutes left that put them up 24-20 and in the catbird seat to be the number 2 seed in the AFC just behind Baltimore. And what happened? Belichick's defense spit the bit. They allowed Ryan Fitzpatrick to go, 75 yards in 13 plays for a game-winning, not field goal, but touchdown? That canceled what I thought was an extraordinary run late in the year by Tom Brady. So given the lack of help that he had, I thought he was really good last year, and I think he's going to be great in Tampa.
Can I ask you a question, Skip? Did Tom Brady make the Pro Bowl last year? Because in the previous segment, you told me Dak Prescott didn't make the Pro Bowl, so he didn't play well. So if Dak Prescott didn't make the Pro Bowl and he didn't play well, how does Tom Brady not make the Pro Bowl, but he played well?
Last year, Dak Prescott had twice as much help, twice as much as Tom Brady did. By the end of the year, Sony Michel, who I thought was really good in 2018, was lost in Belichick's doghouse. Sabotagey? I don't know. I don't get it. No Zeke, no offensive line like Dak had. There was no Amari at home. There was no Michael Gallup. There wasn't even a Jason Witten last year for Tom Brady in New England. He had nothing.
Just think about if Amari had showed up on the road like he did at home. Dak might have thrown for 5,500 yards, and you might have would have gotten the playoff. You see, Skip, what you try and do is that when Tom Brady plays bad, now when Sony Michel and they were leading the playoffs in rushing, you never mentioned that. All you mentioned was Brady was bing, bing, bing. Those 3 3rd and 10s. You didn't mention Sony Michel. You didn't mention Rex Burkhead. All you talked about, a run that back. Let's hear what Joey Bosa had to say. I can't get there. He's getting the ball out so quick. You didn't mention anything about the run game. Now he struggles. Oh, his running game was terrible. Oh, Julian Edelman couldn't get up. Now, you the same guy that said Julian Edelman should be in the Hall of Fame. That was you the same guy. So now he can't play.
Before last year, I did.
The Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
What? Oh.
Well, wait a second. Wait a second. Julian Edelman has the second best stats across the board in the postseason to Jerry Rice. Those are Hall of Fame numbers.
Then.
Not last year. They were not in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, they were in the playoffs last year. Oh, they were. But hold on, Skip. But in that 28-3, when they were down in the Super Bowl, they came back without Gronk. And you said, see, that's the mastery of Tom Brady. He doesn't need anybody. Now you say it because they had the Gronkless tight ends. Which is it? Does he need Gronk or does he not need Gronk? Is Julian Edelman a Hall of Famer, a Super Bowl MVP or not? I need you to pick one side because you sideswiping everybody else that's close to you in the lane. You keep sideswiping me because you told me he didn't need Gronk. You told me that Julian Edelman, now Julian Edelman, he dropped too many passes. Sonny Michel is in the doghouse. Coach Belichick sabotaging, and he's a tyrant.
Okay, against Atlanta, go back and look who made some of the biggest catches in that game. Danny Amendola. Look at the 2-point catch Amendola made. Look at the 3rd and, 15 that Chris Hogan converted early in that last-ditch drive that ended up sending the game to overtime. Go look at Chris Hogan, the play that he made. So he's